Jota.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But go to Abuja, go to Kano,
Yeah.
go to the east, all over Nigeria. Nigerians came out for Nigerians. We
Yes.
were fighting as individuals. We
No,
depended on NLC to hold government in that deadlock that allowed people like me who have a 9 to 5, who would otherwise not be able to occupy, to do so.
Yeah.
And what happened? NLC went in, they came out, end of story. That's effective.
That wasn't the civil society. The NLC is not the civil society group. The NLC is the labor body. So you cannot align the NLC with the civil society. You know, even when we went for the negotiations, the government refused to, allow the civil society groups
exactly, and
to
that's
be
part of your effectiveness.
Of course, that's part
But don't you think that if civil society, do you think that the NADECO of 1997, 1996, do you think that government, military government at the time, the NADECO that faced the military government at the time, do you think that this government would have been able to tell them, we won't reckon with you?
No, you see, the template has changed.
In what way?
In the sense that in the same NADECO you have mentioned now, we have some of their members who are in ACN today.
Yes.
Some are in ANPP, some are in PDP. But as at then, we had a common enemy, which was the military.
What is our enemy now?
The enemy now that the Nigerian people are fighting is the corruption.
No, I put it to you that the enemy that Nigeria is fighting today is ignorance, followed by selfishness, which is exactly what you have said today. Everybody is trying to survive. We keep complaining about Nigeria being tough and difficult, people trying to survive. But you see, somehow people still manage to buy Range Rovers. They buy houses, they move up. We are all managing to survive. Hold on. How long can this individual pursuit last?
Don't forget that the first law of humanity is self-preservation. I gave you a Yoruba proverb now. I'm a Yoruba man. Yoruba said, Yoruba say, Ebi ki wonu, koro mi wo.
Yes, but the Englishman also says whatever is worth doing is worth doing well.
No matter the lofty idea.
Then why call yourself civil society?
You will never be ready to accomplish
Look, civility means that you've risen above survival.
Before you can accomplish your goals.
No. So
but the issue is that unless and until the people themselves take to our sermons, we have always been on the mount.
But what exactly are your sermons? What exactly is your message?
Our sermons are that the people must be ready to vote in only leaders based on
How long have you been preaching this message?
We will continue to preach it till Jesus comes.
But do you not think that if you've been doing the same thing and achieving the same results, you should change? Do you not realize that if you've been doing the same thing and achieving no results, then you should turn around?
What other means do you want us to do?
The problem with Nigeria is not about putting the... Look!
And even when Jesus was preaching against sin, what happened? One of his disciples, Judas, went and collected money to sell him off.
That's a very lovely story. But you see, the truth of the matter is the average Nigerian man will vote for whoever will give him 50 naira. And will continue to do so until this nation falls apart. The message civil society should be preaching to the average Nigerian is that he should get up, open a book and look at it and try to better himself. If he cannot open a book, ask questions. The message you are supposed to be preaching to the average Nigerian man is to get up and think of the generations to come. The reason the US is where it is today is because 400 years ago, a few people were thinking of today.
That is the most appropriate thing to do that. Look, my dear people, the only salvation for this country is if we vote in credible leaders.
The only persons. But there are no credible persons. There are no credible persons.
Or because it's from my town, or because it's from my own region. I've had people say a certain part of the country has ruled the country for so long that it is the turn of it is now.
And what do you think is the cause of that?
People will now tell you that a certain somebody from a certain religious faith has ruled for so long that it is now this side. And I tell them that even if the man from your own religious faith is there, so long as he's been there, will not guarantee you good life, a life of hope. There's no need you voting along those lines.
The question is this: you said earlier that if you're hungry, no matter how lofty your ideas are, you cannot do anything.
Sure, you need to be alive to
are you now accepting that the civil society organizations are hungry?
No, I'm not. What I'm telling, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm telling you is that, you see, the Nigerian people, in as much as we are sermonizing them, a lot of them have developed that attitude of only survival for today. We shouldn't be. And that is why we are in this mess.
Do you not think that it is the job of civil society to now put it to them that they should think beyond tomorrow?
That is what we are doing.
But that is not what you are doing. What you are doing is helping them to just go deeper into this hole.
We are
you are talking about asking them to elect people
we are
when there are no
that,
credible
like
candidates to elect.
Man shall not live by bread alone. That you will not live for only your today. Think of your children's children. So that when you are gone, your children will say, when my grandfather was alive, he laid his footprints in the sand of time. Don't be like the snake that crawls on the rock and there is no trace of him.
My brother, if that is what you claim to be doing, you're not being effective.
We have been doing it. It is
you're
not
being
for
the opposite of effective, because the average Nigerian on the road doesn't even know that this message is out there. You said it yourself that the average Nigerian is only trying to survive.
No, what I'm telling you is that what has beclouded their reasoning that is affecting a whole lot of them, and which is responsible for this mess we have found ourselves economically, politically, and socially, is because of the fact that there are a lot of them are thinking only about today. But that will not stop us. Don't forget,
I put it to you that civil society in Nigeria is thinking of only today.
Are still preaching repentance. The Christians are still preaching repentance, and we will continue to do that.
Whether you're achieving anything or not.
We are definitely achieving it.
So can you give me proof of what you have achieved?
The Occupy Nigeria issue you mentioned, we didn't go to their homes to bring them. It was because we analyzed issues.
Nigerians came out because for once there was one unifying matter, not because anybody called them.
Because we mobilized them.
Petrol was an issue that would affect everybody's life. Nigerians came out because of their pure selfishness. Nigerians came out to occupy Nigeria because that was the only thing that would affect everybody, whatever they were, whatever they had. It was after a few days that people began to open deeper issues. I put it to you that the young people in this country are totally without guidance. They are totally ignorant and they are totally unaware of the situation of this country. I put it to you that civil society is going to ruin this country if you continue with this attitude you have of preaching.
What we are doing is that
what do you want to achieve by preaching to people that don't even listen to you, that don't even understand you?
Should we give them guns?
No.
What should we do?
What you need to do is to call people and let them see that what we have been doing is wrong. What
have we been doing?
My brother, is to stop trying to save their necks. Stop this attitude of if I die, nobody will remember me. What I need civil society to do is to do their job properly and stop scraping the surface.
Because we the civil society groups only know of the legitimate and constitutional means to effect changes. Which is through sensitization, through campaign, through seminars, through symposiums.
Where? How? Who?
A lot of civil society.
When was the last time that
CD? Is it June 12 coalition? Is it Save Nigeria?
All those 40-something-year-old men.
Is this UAD?
All those 40-something-year-old men.
No!
This lack of continuity that the people that were in Adepo that you are recycling.
Even in our midst, we are younger elements there. Because you
call yourself a young man, sir.
I'm a young man.
Oh my God.
The youth leader of PDP was a 65-year-old man. And
which is exactly the problem.
What is the problem?
Do you know the United Nations definition of youth?
Please define it. No, you are not going to use the United Nations here. We are in Nigeria.
Okay, so what's
the Nigerian definition of a young man? Is a 65 years old
and there lies the problem.
And below.
And civil society supports that.
No, we don't support that, but I'm a young man. You want me to call myself an old man?
You're not old, but you're certainly not young.
I'm a young man, my dear. I'm a young man. I'm still on the field. I'm still very agile.
But why you should be mentoring people who are my age so that we do not fall into the trap that your generation fell into?
Are you telling me we are not of the same generation?
Oh my God, no, we are not.
No, I disagree.
We are not of the same generation,
the issue here today should not be the issue
your generation spent 10 kobo.
No, my generation didn't spend 10 kobo. We are in the same generation.
All right, gentlemen, let me read something to it. A quote, one of Sagi was quoted as saying that the poor economic conditions of the Nigerian state has also led to the emergence of civil society that are state inclined because members of such groups believe strongly that by showing loyalty to the incumbent government, material resources are assured.
We cannot rule that out in human affairs. They are so like the scenario.
We cannot rule out civil society showing loyalty to certain incumbents.
We cannot,
just so that material
for us to be realistic, we cannot rule that out. It's just like the preaching of Jesus that a certain farmer went onto the field. Some seeds fell on thorns, and the thorns choked them up. Some will fall on fertile land, and they will germinate. So for you, when we started, I emphasized that we are all victims of this economic situation in the country. I'm not holding brief that we are saints. I've said it openly. We are not messiahs. Nobody should mistake us for a messiah. The destiny of Nigeria is in the hands of every Nigerian.
Okay.
Don't give it to any civil society people to
Okay.
vote for you.
Your destiny is in your hands. Don't give it to civil society. That's what he says. But we'll be back in a short while, just as we're going on break. Dairo Olamide Luke says the civil society are being made to play the second fiddle. They are not relevant as far as government is concerned because they are non-partisan. We're almost out of time, but let's see what the tweets are saying. In the House 247 says, civil society mouths have been stuffed with money. That's how their mouths got shut. That's in the House 247. Glow 3178 it says, the masses' voices are no longer heard. Catlock.com says, who will I give to? That's a question. Entrust says, civil society has failed us woefully. See how Nupeng is working for subsidy. Those who are taking subsidy funds wrongfully, and they are quiet. Ostvic1 says, most of our civil societies today are not speaking for the people, but for themselves and their interests. And I'm sure Ostvic again says, civil society needs to give voice to the voiceless Nigerians by willingly laying down their lives.
Well, the last comment I want to react to that is because of the fact that people should stop feeling that the civil society will savage Nigeria for them. Nigeria belongs to all of us.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Are civil society groups not called non-profit organizations?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Please, you are a PR executive.
Yes.
What does non-profit organization mean?
Basically, you're in it not for yourself, for
humanitarian-
everyone
for
except
humanitarian
yourself.
purpose, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is why I need to ask you this question.
Yeah.
If you say that Nigerians should fight for themselves, then why does civil society exist in Nigeria at all? Because you're effectively saying that you are totally incapable of doing what you're supposed to do.
No, that is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the role of the civil society is to sermonize. You see, Nigeria as a country is bigger than the civil society. The destiny of Nigeria is in the hands of Nigerians and not the civil society. So when we sermonize, when we enlighten people, sensitize them on issues, it is now left for them to take it to their various homes and reflect it in their characters.
While civil
reflect
society
it in the way they relate to the
might-
government.
That might be part of your role, sir.
Yeah.
But from what I have read, from what I know,
Yeah.
the major occupation of civil society is to critique government, to put in simple terms
Yeah.
that people can dissect and understand what government is doing wrong.
No,
Sermons are none of your
civil-
business. What you are supposed to do is to tell people they have done this. If they do this, if we let them get away with this XYZ will happen. Do you want it to happen? No. Speak out.
You have to realize that the society is made up of the government and the governed. The role of the civil society is to talk about issues in government as well as issues affecting the governed. If today now we are talking about voting for credible leaders,
Yes.
we are talking to the governed, the masses. That look, your salvation to a good life in this country lies in you voting for somebody because of his antecedents, because of what he can do.
What
and
about
not
when it
because
comes
of
to things as
sentiments.
little as a local government chairman who's pilfering public funds?
Yes.
What about when it comes to simple things as diverting contract money?
Yes.
Who is complaining about things that kill Nigerians every day on our expressways?
Don't for-
Who is talking about the situation with electricity and infrastructure?
Don't forget
Are those
that
things not
even
important
at
to
the
the
level of
governed?
civil society,
Yes.
we don't have constitutional rule, unlike the media. What we are doing is purely humanitarian.
Okay, so
And
now
we
it's the
have
media's
limitations.
role.
And for us to carry out a lot of activities, we need funds, we need personnel.
Okay, so
Which is
Nigeria-
why you are
you
not
need
in it for
funds,
profit.
and
If you
then
don't
you-
have the funds, if the kitchen is too hot,
we
get
need
out.
personnel. A lot of the issues that came up during the Occupy Nigeria came from Nigerians who volunteered themselves, and that is what we need from Nigerians, that they should keep on talking, that the only way to save this country is if we keep on talking, because Yoruba say Ebo Osho Osheru, that is the sacrifice for the witches and the wizards. You can offer sacrifice, but Ebo Alaruka, you cannot stop people from talking. So the only way we can save this country is if we continue to talk. Because
how can people talk about subjects they are not even aware of? You are saying people should talk. Are you telling them what they should talk about? Are you exposing? Are you simplifying issues? You will.
We are sensitizing them.
May we not have
issues.
all died before you begin to?
No, we continue, because even we that are sensitizing, we too will die one day. We will not live forever.
Die. It's inevitable.
But we'll continue to play that role that God has, chosen us to play in the lives, to emancipate the Nigerian people through sensitization and campaign.
Your roles seem to be so many.
They say the appointment of civil society leaders into political offices has also affected the character and ideology of the civil society organization.
No, it hasn't. It depends on the organization, because when a leader or a member of a civil society is appointed into government, he goes on his own personal terms. It has nothing to do with the civil society groups, because the civil society groups, when there's any issue, they will look at those issues dispassionately. It has nothing to do with...
Does that still work?
It still works, because we have had series of instances whereby we talk on issues. Even like in Lagos now, with the civil society, we are even sensitizing our people that, look, it is not right for you to, dump your refugees in canals.
And of course, out of all the issues we have, that's serious.
That's a serious issue.
Absolutely.
The issue of flood. That, look, when flood occurs, before it will affect those you feel are at the top, you are the ones there on the ground. It touches you first. So those are the roles we are playing.
I'm using Lagos as an example. Once again, you are not particularly effective.
Pardon?
You're not particularly effective.
In what way?
Nigerians still litter the ground left, right, and center.
But don't forget, my sister, the greatest tragedy that has befallen humanity is the failure of man to learn from history. But that will not in any way...
How is a student supposed to learn if there's no one to teach?
A student...
When your teacher is busy trying to survive, how are you supposed to learn anything?
Nobody has... Don't forget, like they told Moses, nobody has appointed us to be their teacher. So they can tell us to shut up. But we have chosen to be the town crier.
But you see, this same Bible you quote, nobody appointed Jesus.
Jesus was ordained.
By who?
Nobody could question
Let's
him.
not go into theology. All right, no problem.
There's this for you here. It says the lady doesn't have facts and she has no solution to the upliftment of Nigerians.
Nobody has the solution to the upliftment of Nigerians except Nigerians. The solution, as far as I am concerned, is to stop waiting for civil society. Stop waiting for the government. Stand up and do what is right.
Yes.
End of story.
Yeah.
Civil society, as a member of civil society, has here admitted, is incapable of doing much because they are busy trying to survive. The government is busy pilfering funds. All is left for us to do is to try to begin to repair the mistakes that have been made for 50 years.
In the hands of every Nigerian. Nobody is your Messiah. The only Messiah that ever lived was Jesus. But
nobody is asking civil society to be a Messiah. No, what we're asking you to do is to try to enlighten people, to criticize government actively.
To critique government, to enlighten our people.
But nobody is doing that.
This is the way we have been doing that. And even till I got into this studio,
this New Pen crisis has been going on for how many days now? What are you saying, sir?
The what?
New Pen issue.
A lot of civil society organizations have spoken on it. Today, I've granted an interview on the radio.
All right. We're almost out of... We are indeed out of time.
So we'll continue to talk about these issues.
We will continue to talk about these issues. Thank you so much, Olumide Gbadebo, for coming on the program. It's been wonderful having you here. And Nelson Kunjimi, thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
And you out there, let's see if we can run to a few of your tweets because we are saying good night in the next few seconds. Leno9 says civil society appears to have lost focus and become tools in the hands of politicians. Civic 2011, civil society is now a branch of the opposition parties. What a shame. Ife Tolu says civil societies chased out Professor Samegu, made the legislators invoke the doctrine of necessity for GJ and fought for subsidy. Linda Isioma says civil society needs to be scrapped. They fight for their own interest rather than that of the masses. Adegoke Joe 2012 says now our day civil society are just seeking their own pocket. All of them have failed woefully. Elizabeth says civil society groups in principle are a very good instrument for radical social change, but it's not really so in Nigeria. Skip on. Civil societies are in for themselves. Well, I can't take more of your tweets, but keep sending them in. We'd like to know what you think about this. Thank you so much for letting us be a part of your evening. To bring another edition of the program. Have a good night.